Kufuatiliwa vizuri. Vijana wengi wakitaka kwenda kuomba kazi Dubai siku hizi wa Kenya waaminiki kwa sababu ya ukora ndogo ndogo. Ndio hii sasa mnaanza kufrustrate investor mwenye ako na record kwao, ako na record kwa embassy yao. Sisi wenyewe tumeenda mpaka kwao. Yeye mwenyewe amekuja mpaka kwetu, tumekuwa na yeye hapa mara mingi.
His lawyers claim they have been denied access to their client.
How do you explain to him you want to interrogate him? The person who could have interrogated for him, his interpreter, is present here. Why didn't they even allow him inside there so that the person can at least know why he's being held? That has not happened until this particular moment. Then, at what point are you going to release this man? Because the diplomatic offices, Kenyan Foreign Affairs Office has already said that he's not under arrest, but they were only interrogating him. For what?
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Kenya Police Service has remained silent as to why Harun Aidid, the Turkish businessman, was arrested, despite the Turkish embassy insisting that Harun was not a terrorist. Reporting for Legends Edition, I'm Suleiman Yeri.
Thank you, Yeri, for that detailed report. 1,205 people have tested positive for the novel coronavirus in the country in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 8,158 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 14.8%. Total confirmed positive cases are 211,028. 28 during this period. 29 patients succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 4,117 between Friday and Saturday. 1,242 patients recovered from the disease, 1,069 from home-based isolation and care, while 173 from various health facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 197,029. Globally, there are 202,585,317 coronavirus cases. Cumulative death toll stands at 4,294,378. And still on matters COVID, the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with Nairobi Metropolitan Services, has begun a vaccination drive in residential areas within the capital city in a bid to upscale the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Nairobi Metropolitan Services Community Strategy Coordinator Julia Kimutai says they have started with Embakasi and intend to reach out to 20,000 people this weekend. Timothy Kipnusu has that story.
Taj Mall bus stage, Embakasi, Nairobi County. Residents in the area and neighboring residential estates turning up to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Nairobi Metropolitan Services Community Strategy Coordinator Julia Kimutai says both the first and second vaccines are available.
Our target today is to reach every person that qualifies to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Those who are coming for the first time and those who are coming for the second time, they are all our target.
By 2 p.m. Saturday, Taj Mall Bus Stage Vaccination Center had administered the AstraZeneca vaccine to 400 people.
I've come for the first vaccine because I've heard what is taking place. So I didn't take risk. I just said, let me just come for it, at least to try my best to take care of myself and everything. So I'm urging other people, my workmates, my relatives, my friends, please come for it. Because it's only this time, maybe next time, we'll be suffering to where we can get the vaccine.
And there are so many misconceptions even around here as I was queuing. I'd like to encourage maybe the public to ignore those and just come and take the vaccine and keep safe and protect the ones we love around us.
No longer just targeting the frontline workers as was before. It's no longer the healthcare workers or the teachers or the security personnel only. All Kenyans above the age of 18 and who have no contraindications as guided by the healthcare providers in terms of pregnancy and certain allergies are eligible for vaccination.
A similar vaccination drive conducted in 5 other areas within Embakasi, namely Jacaranda Grounds, Motomoto SDA Church, Utawala SDA Church, Kariobangi Market, and Terminus SDA Church in Dandora Phase 3. As of Friday, 1,793,520 people had been recorded to have received the jab. The Ministry of Health projects to vaccinate a total of 10 million Kenyans before the end of the year.
Even as the government through the Ministry of Health continues to step up efforts to fight the pandemic, it appears that the misconception from Kenyans about the efficacy of the vaccine is still a major problem to the fight of this pandemic. Timothy Kipnoso for Legends Edition, Nairobi.
COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has warned the One Kenya Alliance that they risk being irrelevant after the 2022 polls unless they join forces with other political groupings to form the next government. Atwoli said as currently constituted, the One Kenya Alliance lacks the necessary political muscle to clinch power in the next poll.
The political onslaught against the Deputy President William Ruto continued this weekend, with his opponents questioning the efficacy and relevance of his bottom-up economic model in 21st century and his several trips to Uganda in the recent past.
A Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya cannot go to a sovereign republic, another country, without the permission of his boss, who is Uhuru Kenyatta.
Na ukiangalia katiba pia inasema wakati ambao rais amechaguliwa anaapa mbele ya umma kutumikia nchi, na deputy president pia anasema mbele ya umma ya kwamba atamtumikia rais kwa njia ya dhati. I've read that oath which was taken by the deputy president, where he said he will be a faithful counselor and advisor to the president.
Speaking in Game constituency when he attended the funeral of Mama Tabitha Okwaro, wife to the Kenya Communication Workers Union Secretary General Benson Okwaro, Atwoli would also use the opportunity to lash out at the One Kenya Alliance.
Kaambia nyinyi kujeni pamoja, shikaneni na Raila. Raila nilimwandikia hiyo barua vile mlikuwa katika NASA. Saa hii mna support president anaunga mkono. Kama hawezi kusema nataka huyo ama nataka nani, lakini ana sympathize na nyinyi, come together. Nikamwambia hivyo. Mwingine anaenda kuambia hawa ita press conference. Atwoli is a political broker. Kwa watu wote ni nani broker?
He accused members of the alliance of being part of a wider scheme to force a rerun in the general poll as a way of increasing their bargaining power.
Wanataka rerun. Raila asishinde, Ruto asishinde. Sasa hapo ndio biashara sasa. Hapo sasa ndio business. Well, let me tell them. Mimi ni mzee. Sitaki kitu chochote. I have not said this. Hii election inaenda kushinda William Samoei Ruto in first round.
Achala Simon for Legends Edition.
A section of survivors and families of the August 7th, 1998 terrorist bomb blast claim they are yet to be compensated 23 years later since the blast, calling on the government to intervene and end their suffering. 1998 bomb blast, though the Through the 7th August 1998 bomb blast Victims Association, the victims have questioned the slow pace at which the matter is being handled and the time taken to conclude their compensation process. The USA Embassy, through their cultural attaché, has meanwhile called for more cooperation to end terrorism in the region, urging communities to work together.
Nimepitia shida nyingi tangu bwana yangu akufe, na kama ni kukuulizwa kwangu ile mimi nilikuwa nataka hiyo bomb America, hii bomb blast America Embassy wanaweza kutulipa kakitu, at least tuase tu kujiendeleza na maisha, kwa maana tulipita kama mimi nilipitia shida nyingi.
This day is a day of remembrance. To remember those souls that were lost, and those souls whose legacy will live and linger on but forever.
There are some victims who are still suffering as a result of the blast. So the only good and great thing that we can do today, and the message that we can give to the country and to other nations of the world, how can we cultivate lasting peace? How can we embrace living for the sake of one another?
There has never been any financial compensation to the victims. I, for one, reached out to the congressmen in America and the senators on this issue. So Sudan government gave $335 million to compensate the American citizens, contractors and employees of the American embassy. But the government of America never negotiated for us Kenyans. We have filed up a petition in the High Court to compel our government to compensate us.
We can now get back to our places.
Well, we now take a short break, and when we come back, we have more news for you, including the living legend, Catherine Dereva.
Kenya umekuwa na mabadiliko sana katika miaka michache iliyopita. Majengo mapya yamejengwa kudhihirisha maendeleo makubwa ya uchumi wake na kufanya mji huu uwe mashuhuri zaidi kama kituo cha mawasiliano ya ulimwengu. Mikutano mingi mashuhuri kama ule wa International Monetary Fund, mkutano wa ulimwengu wa baraza la makanisa na mkutano wa Umoja wa Mataifa kuhusu biashara na maendeleo na mingine mingi ilifanywa hapa katika jumba mashuhuri la mikutano Kenyatta Conference Center.
To get Change Your Thinking Skiza tune, dial star 811 *961 #.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 *961 #. Star 811 *961 #.
Welcome back. Parents with twins and multiple sets of twins have decried the cost of raising such children, especially in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Jared and Judith Ondari, a couple who have 3-year-old twins, the journey has been bumpy but worth it. And as the world celebrates World Twin Days, the couple advises parents expecting twins and fraternal multiples to keep their heads high up and their ears closed to the myths that such children are a bad omen. Our reporter Ruth Wambui spent the day with the family and filed the following report.
Saturday morning at Kamiti sub-location, Kiambu County, we meet Judith and Jared with their 3-year-old identical twins.
Hivi kusumbua hivi. Niambie. Mimi unaweza mwambia sichapika, ngojea anakuambia sawa. Lakini huyu anakuambia mimi mami nataka chakula. Anangangana. Ama ukimwambia awache hii kitu, ataki ni stapo ni hata kama ni mpole. Wewe hata kama ni sumbufu. Lakini ukimwambia nasikia
watapata baraka kama hiyo. Mimi naitanga baraka juu. Unajua sasa hii ni kitu yenye utarea na ule mara moja na ukuje kusahau. Sasa wakipata ujumbe kama hiyo wasistuke kama mimi vile nilistuka.
Mungu mbinguni ajibuye maombi yetu, tunapoomba asikia.
At Arboretum in Nairobi County, where the identical family was meeting for their annual celebrations, the mood is spirited. You need to have a keen eye to tell the difference. Anyway, there is no point to worry. Even their close relatives have difficulties in telling who is who.
And we chose to do things to do with water. That's why we are water engineers. Yeah, and that's why even today we are in blue, because it represents water. And it's a male-dominated course. So
twin bond, like how twins do their things together, supporting one another, working as a team. It is only teamwork that will make us to overcome the challenges that we are having currently.
Tulizaliwa some over 50 years back first, and because we were always together, inseparable, and my partner with his cousins were close, so the cousin got my sister as her partner.
This year's theme is Twinners are Winners.
As the world celebrates World Twins Day, this year's theme for Kenya:
Twinners are winners. Happy World Twins Day. Yay!
For Legends Edition, I'm Ruth Wambui.
And it is also congratulations and happy Twins Day from all of us here in the studio. Well, on to other news. The Ministry of Education has extended Form 1 admission by a week to ensure a 100% transition of students to secondary school. Initially, the exercise was to be completed by Friday, August 6th, 2021, but will now continue until Friday, 13th, 2021. In a statement, the Ministry of Education directed all school principals to admit all students who report to school, including those that may not have the full fees. At the same time, examination centers that have not uploaded their candidates' registration details onto the Kenya National Examinations Council registration portal as required have been urged to take advantage of extended registration to do so. Additionally, county directors of education must ensure examination centers fully comply to the requirement. Heads of institutions and examination centers have been cautioned against failure to register candidates. Kandui Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi is calling for speedy investigations into the murder of Peter Otenga, member of the communications team whose body was found on Saturday morning. Elsewhere, a section of leaders in Eastleigh, Nairobi County is appealing to the government and development partners to come to the aid of residents afflicted by the COVID pandemic. This and more in our County News Roundup.
Peter Oteng, alias Stoma, communication professional and well-known musician based in Bungoma County, was found dead in what appears to be murder. Residents and local leaders led by Kandui Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi are calling on authorities to bring his killers to book.
So at least police should have a lead from there, waweze kufuata mpaka huyu mtu apatikane. Na pia ichunguzwe the link that kifo ya Storm iko nayo kwa mambo ya siasa yetu.
Meanwhile, at the same time, the Kenya Counselors and Psychological Association is calling for the implementation of mental health awareness and sensitization of police officers. National Secretary James Mutitu, who visited the family of two slain brothers in Kidhangari village, Embu County, said the intervention is needed to curb cases of police brutality. Benson Jiru and Emmanuel Mutura will be buried on Friday.
Through their training and even the official position, is that they have already initiated matters counseling and even addressing mental health issues.
Elsewhere, a section of leaders in Eastleigh, Nairobi County, has donated 20 tons of food to residents economically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and is calling on more well-wishers to do the same.
Ni kama 80% ambao wako affected mbaya, ambao uchumi na hamna kazi, watu wanakaa kwa nyumba, wameathirika pakubwa. Then ningesema tu serikali na well wishers wasaidie watu wa airbase.
That the situation has even worsened, it has not improved. So they should come in and join up hands with Mheshimiwa.
In Mombasa County, Jomvu Model Hospital is set to undergo digital transformation as patients' records will now be completely digitized in the next 2 weeks, making the filing system paperless.
Daktari akiwa yuko hapa akaongea tu na mtu hapo through a computer na akajulikana pale shida yake ni nini na ikapatikana history yake.
Meanwhile, West Pokot County government has reduced monthly boda levies in a bid to cushion operators from the effects of COVID-19, which has negatively affected their livelihoods. Area Governor John Lonyangapuo said the move to help those with loans to meet their obligation.
Na vile mmetusaidia kudili na wacheuri wale wanachuna watu. Na sijui kama nikitangaza hii mtanisaidiaje? Nijue mwisi ile mbaya mbovu mwenye amekuja kupretend na vaa nguo ya kondoo West na kusema yeye ni pikipiki boda kumbe ni nyeusi ro.
In another development, leaders from Laikipia North constituency have expressed disappointment with the Teacher Service Commission for employing only 2 teachers in the area in the ongoing recruitment drive. And finally, members of the fourth estate in the country have been cautioned against giving airtime to hate mongers' space in their reporting. Speaking during the official opening of the Eldoret Media Hub, Uasin Gishu Deputy Governor Daniel Chemno says the country heads to the electioneering period. Media will play a key role in setting the political agenda.
Well, we take another break, and when we come back, of course, we've been talking about Catherine Dereba. She is our living legend tonight.
I would say there's this side of me that people see.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's why my EP was titled A Side of Me. I never release music to get people's validation. I already know that when I write a song and it's ready for release, then it's something that I'm proud of. And so I released it because I was proud of it, regardless of what the reception would be.
So it looks like music, or the music industry, is actually a lot of work and takes a lot of discipline.
Oh, a lot of discipline and a lot of time. I'm just like, sometimes listening to yourself and listening to your heart can be very, very important. Because if I didn't release it, that would have been really bad. That Kering name, and I want to say it here, will become the biggest brand in the universe. Like that's what I pray for.
Tell us a little bit about your love life. Give us an exclusive. So are you seeing someone?
Internet.
Raura.
Ai! Ni watu Kiswahili kucho.
Patie mtoto ya ng'ombe maji.
Sasa tutafanyaje?
Fanyaje okoka.
Msichana ya kanye ni wewe.
Babe. Mama nauliza kwenyu ni wapi?
Oh, mimi natoka Nairobi West.
Tom.
Fundisha mtoto wako adabu. Oh, wacha nao. Mimi natoka Baba Tiff, natoka Mama. Wewe unatoka Kokorioko.
Mimi kisafatia nyakwara yangu hivi.
Mama, adoni mundi bed pin boss.
Mayo jana roba. Pashe maana wewe
mama mipasho
kabisa. Haya, shida iko wapi kwani?
Mbona mimi napewa habari zingine basi sielewi mama.
Habari gani mpenzi? Na ungoje sasa hivi tayari uondoka.
Mimi nitakuletea mwanamume ambaye nitampenda mimi mwenyewe na ambaye nitamridhia mimi mwenyewe, ambaye ni chaguo langu.
Unajua nini Sule boy? Sio eti yako ameacha. Ushanipata Unajua mtoto wa kike ndiko kuna sehemu anaenda.
Mimi mpaka sasa yani najiuliza huyu jamaa alitushinda vipi?
Bwana Senator, nakukishia huyu bwana hatutushinda kwa hili jambo.
Well, you have known her on the track. You have known her on the streets, on the roads of Boston, on the roads of Philadelphia, where she has garnered quite a big reputation. But what you did not know is that she is a holder of DSM, Distinguished Service Medal from President Moi, OGW, Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya 2002 from President Mwai Kibaki, and of course the latest honor conferred upon her by President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2020 is Moran of the Burning Spear of Kenya. And ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome none other than Catherine Nyambura Dereva, Catherine the Great. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Who is Catherine Dereva?
Catherine Dereva is a born-again Christian.
Wonderful.
Who loves the Lord. He's the lock of my life. Yes, he's my hope of glory.
Wonderful.
Apart from that, I am a married woman with one husband, and I am a mother of one daughter, Jane Wairimu.
Okay.
Mohia.
Okay.
Yes.
How old is she?
She just turned 24.
Okay, so this is just about when you had started your racetracks, you know, with 5,000 kilometers.
Yes.
And of course you took a break and you didn't know where you were. And then you came back in 1998. Was this the time you were having the baby?
That's when I had the baby.
Wonderful. How did it feel when you came back in 1998?
Well, I can say it was a bit challenging because, you know, there is this what we call baby fat.
Yes.
So I had to work on that. And to get to run with, you know, some extra kgs, it was a little bit challenging and it wasn't fun. But it was what was making it more fun is that I didn't have anything to regret because I have somebody on the side. So regardless of having those extra kgs, I had somebody who can call me mom, and I can cherish as my baby.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yes.
Now, in 1999, you made your debut.
Yes.
In the Boston Marathon.
Yes.
Can you tell us about this experience?
Oh my God, it was such a wonderful experience, and also it was kind of a discovery because I had never run another marathon before, and as much as I had done two half marathons, I believe those were not even enough, like to give me enough experience. And I went to this race not because I was capable of doing it, but I went there just because of disappointment. It had been like a long time that I was trying to make team for the World Cross Country. I tried in 1994, I tried 1995, 1996, and 1999. In 1999, I had all the hopes that I'm going to make the team, but unfortunately I never made it because however I could run and get to qualify, I wasn't good enough to the federation, and I could hear some of the coaches criticizing my way of running. That is now my running style. And you see, you know, I can only run because I don't see myself running unless I watch the TV or something like that. Or maybe the coach tells me, this is how you run, you need to adjust this. So, well, with that, I felt in the 1999, by the fact that I had won like almost every cross-country meet, I said, well, I'm not going to dare to run cross-country anymore. Why don't I go to a race whereby nobody worries about like what is her running style? And that's how I landed to Boston Marathon.
That's wonderful. So where were you using as your acclimatization area?
Okay,
was it
well,
Kenya or?
No, I used to run in the US. So after training here and after national championships, I could go do some races, road racing in the US, and my base was Philadelphia. Norris Town.
Okay.
So that's where I used to do all my acclimatization and all that.
Wonderful.
But my very first race that I could do when I just landed in the US, I could not have those acclimatization because I could maybe get there maybe a day or 2 days before the race.
Was this the race in Atlanta,
That's
Georgia?
the race in Atlanta, Georgia, and none other than Peachtree, 10K. Yes.
How was that?
My goodness. Okay, it was a bit of fun. And I think the closest, I can't remember, I won Peachtree, I think once. But it was such a tough race when you get there and learn when you have not been in the US for a couple of days. Because for me, I used to find it much easier to do better in a race if I have taken a week in the US before I do a race.
That is true.
Yes.
That is very true. This is where you were saying that, you know, the air was hitting you.
It was
hotter
hitting me.
than what you were breathing out.
Yes. What I inhale it was much hotter than what I exhale.
But this is the same place that actually gave you accolades and named you the Road Runner of the Year.
Definitely.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about 2000. Your endurance was fledgling in a race. And somebody said something to you.
That was in the year 2000. No, 1999.
1999.
When I was doing my debut in Boston, I remember Moses Tanui was defending champion.
Yes.
And when I reached at 40 kilometers, I was number 2, and I was following Fatuma Lomba, who was defending champ.
Okay.
So, and when I got at 40 kilometers, I was a bit tired, and I can call myself out of gas. And that's the language they normally use when they're announcing or they are commenting about the marathoners.
Yes.
They normally go like, oh, she's out of gas, or oh, he's out of gas.
Yeah.
So now, and I was just figuring out to stop on the way.
Yes.
And I don't know what had happened to Moses, but he was seated on the side of the road. And when he saw me, he could tell, like, I want to stop. And I had him just cheering me, and she said, Catherine, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And I was wondering, why should he tell me not to stop, yet he's seated? And I was feeling like he's feeling good, but he doesn't want me to feel the way he's feeling. He just wants me to keep on and on and on.
That is
and I was so
spirit.
tired, and I just felt like, no. So what I did, I just walked to the table, I picked up my water, I had a sip or two, and then I started jogging. And let me tell you, it was such a now-for experience, you know, for whoever is, you know, planning a marathon or is, you know, inspiring to do a marathon. The worst part of it is to stop and then you start running again. Because when you stop, the fatigue just normally builds in your muscles, and to get started again, it normally becomes very difficult. It's so much.
How does it feel to cross the line? I mean, that's a question we've always wanted to ask.
Wow. It makes me feel like, wow, it's a world for me. It's like a new world. Yeah, you know, when you do all this mileage and you go for that race, having set a goal, and when you cross that finish line, being number 1, it's like a payday. After putting all this mileage and you went out there and you crossed the finish line, being number 1, it feels so good, and it's something to thank God for. And that's why sometimes I didn't even have enough words to be able to express my joy, and that's why I could shed. You could see me shedding, you know, tears.
Shedding tears. But of course you had sunglasses that covered you so well. And you looked so, so wonderful in them, you know.
Thank you.
Was that your trademark? Was that your signature?
That was not my signature, but anyway, I loved, you know, learning in them because, you know, like when you learn, sometimes you may have some bags just, you know, get into your eyes and all that. So at least they protected my eyes. And on the other hand, it was part of my uniform. So I could get paid when I win a race having them on. Yes.
That is wonderful. Now, when you go into a race and you're several Kenyans, and of course, you know, you start, you know, running, and suddenly you can't see your Kenyans, you cannot see anybody, it is just you on the road, you know?
Yes.
Just tell us how that feels.
Well, it feels a bit challenging and a bit scary. One, it's because of the road.
Yes.
You know, I could feel like, for example, for the Olympic championships, leave alone the city marathons or the city races, that didn't have a lot of pressure. But when you're representing Kenyans, now you can imagine myself being out there representing the millions in Kenya. I could feel that road on my shoulders, and that's why I'm saying it's a bit challenging, because